Hey, it's Mark Andrews with the 2022 OCFOI Plays of the Week, Episode 1. Did you guys miss me? All right, we're dealing with blocks below the waist by the offense. I'm going to have another one. Episode 2 will be blocks below the waist by the defense, and then some other blocks below the waist. So let's get going. Okay, this play, well, it's just a reminder that, the defenders are under the same restriction of if they're going to block low, all the criteria have to be met. It has to be in the free blocking zone. They're on the line of scrimmage and so on. Keep an eye on the defensive tackle there. He is not going to successfully block anybody, but the action is immediate. Watch. Okay, that's definitely immediate. There's nothing illegal about that. And had he successfully blocked one of those players or both of those players, that would be fine. That would be legal. All right, move on. All right, here we have another example of defensive blocks below the waist. And this is where they usually will occur. They'll occur near the goal line. And so, again, remember that. When we're close, inside the 5, remember that your defenders may be going low. And it has to satisfy all the requirements of a legal low block below the waist. So let's take a look at this in real time. See, almost the entire defensive line shoots low. They're trying to create a pile, if you will. And let's watch it in slow motion. So these guys, they're all going low. Not working very well for them. And there's a big old hole, and the running back scores. Okay, let's move on. Okay, here's another example of a defender making an illegal low block. And this one happens pretty quick, and it could easily be missed. Let's take a look at it. This is the player involved, and remember, pad level rise is one of our indicators. It's not the only one, but it's definitely an indicator. If we see pad level rise and we see a subsequent low block, we've got a foul. Okay, so let's play it in real time and see how quickly this happens. Okay, let's go back. Okay, there's our guy. Watch him. I think you can see that rise. His pad levels correspond in the picture to the top of the umpire's shoes. Of course, they don't actually correspond. It's just 2D versus 3D. But it does give us a reference point. And then if we go up, okay, he reaches about that level. So if we're using the umpire as a measuring stick, we've gone from here, there to there. So we do have pad level rise. Okay. Now, I watched this clip several times, and I noticed the last time I watched it, we might have a chop block here. Watch this player and this guy. Now, the block is occurring, the low block is occurring, and this player is making forcible contact, I would say that's a chop block. And, you know, easy to miss, but, you know, that's what we get paid the big money for. Anyway, let's move on. All right, so far we've talked about blocks below the waist in the free blocking zone. Of course, blocks below the waist can occur in other places. I'm going to show you a couple of examples of the defense blocking below the waist outside of the free blocking zone, you know, well after the snap. Keep your eye on these two players. So we've got a left guard there and the left defensive end. And the guard is going to pull. And the defender is going to cut him. Now, why do they do this? They're doing it for two reasons. One, they're trying to create an obstruction for the running back to go around. Another thing is they're giving a pathway to the other defenders to get to the ball carrier. We miss these a lot because we're used to seeing them at other levels of football in the college and pro levels. So we've really got to stay sharp on this. Let's watch this. Okay, there's the action. Now, of course, you can't see it that well. We're going to see a great look from the end zone, but I did want you to see it from here. He actually ends up going, flipping over. And again, this is not germane to the blocks below the waist, but watch this clown. The play is well over, right? And he comes in and just cleans this guy's. Well, I won't clean him, but it's a late hit, and there's no call. So this is a matter of losing focus. You know, not dead ball officiating. That should have been obvious to the back judge and maybe the flank, the opposite side flank that is supposed to have the big picture. All right, let's go back to the illegal low block. So there's a defensive end. I'll run it in real time. Now, I'm pointing out here, who can see this? Who can get this call? Well, any of these three, the flank, the referee, the umpire. I would think the referee would be the primary responsibility for this foul. Let's go back and watch it in slow-mo. So we've got a pulling guard, and that is definitely illegal. Watch how low he goes. Right at the knees. I mean, that is so dangerous. All right. Let's look at another one. Okay. This is the same game, and basically we have the same scheme by the defense. That left guard is going to pull, and the defensive end is going to cut him. Now this one's a little different because the guard knows it's coming this time, and he wards him off with his hands. Now, we don't judge the effectiveness of the block. We judge whether the contact is legal. And this, the defender is going low, obviously. The offensive lineman is protecting himself with his hands, and he's able to push the guy away. But the defender made contact, right? So that is, by rule, an illegal block. Let's take a look at the rule. Okay, blocking below the waist is making initial contact below the waist from the front or side against an opponent other than a runner. Contact with an opponent's hands, that's what we have here. below the waist that continues into the body below the waist is considered blocking below the waist. Remember that, okay? And here we see in this mechanogram right here the very thing that the very situation that we just saw in the video. We have a guy warding him off with his hands. This doesn't excuse the illegal contact. And if you're not going to throw a flag on this, I get it, but you sure as heck better be talking to the player and hopefully the head coach and saying, Coach, this ain't happening tonight. You know, if he does it again, he's gonna get hit with a foul. All right, move on. Okay, as much as that last play frustrated me, this one makes me so happy. Boy, this crew hustles. Those of you that are in Orange County know exactly who this is. This is Modern Day and Servite, two of the top programs in the country. Modern Day, top program in the country. Servite was number 6, I think, this year. I'm just going to let this run. There's a couple things that happen here that are good. I want you to keep your eye on the umpire. I hope you saw that. Okay, let me turn the annotations on. I did not annotate this, somebody else did, but it's really well done. So the first thing we have to deal with is the quarterback beyond the line of scrimmage when he lets the ball go? So there's the line of scrimmage. Okay, so excellent no call, right? That quarterback has to be completely over the line of scrimmage in order to for this to be a foul. The book says, he can't throw it in any part of his body, but we're not that good. So let's make sure that that the throw is illegal. Otherwise, just let it go. Now, the next thing that happens is my umpire does exactly what I've been asking you guys to do, and that's pivot. Now, this is a throw. I don't know if all umpires would pivot on this or not, but he pivots. He reads what's happening, the catch. He hustles. Look at this. As I say there, I put this in. The head linesman is looking at progress. He's not looking at the blocks around. Back judge could get this. Umpire gets it, and even the line judge could get this. There's the block below the waist right there. Now, I would think that the head linesman would have a pretty good look at that. But, I'm a head linesman. I miss stuff all the time. I'm not going to throw this guy under the bus. But boy, did this umpire become a crew saver. Right? Great call. Great get. And man, if we don't get this, we look terrible on film. All right, let's move on. Okay, we're going to finish off our discussion of blocks below the waist with a couple of kicking plays. One's a punt. I'm sorry, this isn't a kicking play. This is a broken play. And then we're going to finish off with a kickoff. I've watched this play probably 10 times, and I think I get more upset every time I watch it. And I shouldn't get upset. It's not my job. But there are so many things done wrong on this play that it's kind of hard to not get upset. So let's first talk about keys. We've got head linesman's key, back judge key, and line judge key. And we've got a back right here who could be anybody's key depending on where he goes. Now, I point this out because my head linesman never, ever looks at either of his keys. He is staring at one spot the entire play. So this guy, the farthest receiver on the head linesman side, he is the one that's going to eventually commit the foul. So just let the play run, and then I'm going to slow it down. Okay. So at this point, my wide receiver on the head linesman side is the deepest receiver. As you can see, my head linesman appears to be staring into space. I don't know what he's looking at. The back judge could pick this up, but he's got this contested matchup right here. So he may be looking at that. That's closer to his original key. But regardless, nobody is watching this guy. And so let's watch what he does. He stops. He comes across the field. I think he's looking for a pass at this point. Then when he realizes that the quarterback is scrambling, he starts heading back towards the pile. Now, when that happens, when that turn happens, and we see him gaining speed, the antenna should go up, as I always say. This is an abnormal action by this receiver. And we know on broken plays, this is when we see blindside blocks, blocks in the back, and in this case, block below the waist. So let's just watch it from here. You're going to take out number 42 right there. I don't know if you saw it, but number 42, watch him. Takes him out from the side. Now, oh shoot. I wanted to show you that. This is another of my pet peeves. This back judge is looking at his watch. Guys, if you can't afford a ready ref, or if you think you don't need a ready ref, then you're not a good back judge. You've got to get a ready ref. It's the easiest, most convenient way to manage the 40 and the 25-second clock. None of this looks terrible, and it doesn't work. All right, enough of my ranting. You can't see 5 in this view until he comes into the screen. Now, my poor umpire here, he's in harm's way, and the runner is going to reverse field and come right at him. So he is just, trying to stay safe. I don't blame him for not looking this way, which is where number 5 is. The referee appears to be at least looking in this general area, but he's watching the runner. You can see that by his head now. Now, 5 is going down. Why my back judge is looking at this action, I don't know. He should be looking at lead blocking, which there isn't any, so this guy really becomes, the guy to look at. And that block right there is extremely dangerous. He hits him on the side of the leg. I'm showing here where everybody's looking. That can cause ACL injury, ankle injury. There's a number of things that can happen when you get hit like that. And we don't get it. And, it's easy for me to sit here and break down tape frame by frame, but when I see my crew members looking in the wrong places, then I think, well, there's a reason they missed it. And that's just no bueno. Anyway, enough of my rants. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, kickoff. There are a few things I like on this play and a few things I don't like. So, first of all, let's talk about our positioning. We've got the back judge at the 40 and the line judge at the 50. That's all good. And back judge is supposed to circle in and cover the middle of the field. Line judge should, hustle down to about the 40, so that we have the area between the 40 and the 20 bracketed. Let's watch him. He's walking. That's no good. Now, here's my head linesman on the 30. It's great. It's exactly where he's supposed to be. My referee is here. He's supposed to be on the hash starting out, next to on the head linesman side. It looks like maybe he started on the pylon. Not the worst thing in the world, but it's not proper mechanics. But the big miss is right here. There's no umpire. The umpire is supposed to be on the 20. We want a bracket from the 40 to the 20. That's where most of the fouls occur. Okay. Now, keep your eye on this guy. He's the one that's going to commit the foul. Okay, that is definitely an illegal low block. And this guy is looking right at it. And if I had my umpire, he might have seen it. But he's nowhere to be found. Okay. But the good news is that the back judge got this, which is great. It's not his key, but he got it. And and then I don't know who put some. I'm assuming the crew chief put this on. Ball should be spotted on the 30, not the 40. If we go back and look at the foul, yeah, it's about 31-yard line. But this back judge is a good 20 to 30 yards away from this block. He can't throw the flag that far. Plus, he now has to the run. He's got to cover this. Play's not over. And he's trying not to get beat to the goal line. I think that's overrated, but he got it. But he saved the crew, and the crew not being in the right position and not looking in the right places is what caused this miss. All right, let's move on. Well, that's going to do it for this episode 2 of 2022 OCFOA Plays of the Week. We covered blocks below the waist in episode 1 and 2. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something. Hey, if you want to be notified when I release new videos, just click on my picture on the top right corner there. And then when you go to my page, click on the subscribe button. If you want to go to the 2022 playlist, just click on the picture on the left. Mark Andrews, signing off.